You have been trusting AI for answers, but what if it's lying to you and it does not even know it? Today, we are going to talk about AI hallucination and check if in 2026 AI is still hallucination free or not. Imagine this. You are a doctor. You ask an AI assistant for the standard doses of a critical medication. It gives you a number, confidently, specifically, and completely made up. Or you are a lawyer. You file a brief in federal court citing 5 precedent cases that your AI found for you. The judge looks them up, none of them exists. These are not hypotheticals. These things happened. And in 2026, when AI is writing medical reports, processing legal filings, and tutoring your kids, this problem has a name: hallucination. And you need to understand it. Today, we go deep, real numbers, real research, a verdict that might genuinely surprise you. Let's get into it. First things first, what exactly is an AI hallucination? And I want to be precise here because a lot of people misuse the term. An AI hallucination is not a typo. It's the AI generating factual content that is completely fabricated, presenting it with absolute confidence as if it were established fact. Here is what makes it terrifying. When a human is not sure about something, there are signals. We hesitate. We say, I think. AI has none of those doubt signals. MIT research from 2025 found something deeply unsettling. AI models are 34% more likely to use confident language when generating incorrect information. So, why does this happen? At their core, large language models are prediction engines. They are trained to predict that word or phrases comes next, not to verify truth, not to say, I do not know. And when a model does not have the answer, it does not freeze up. It generates something that sounds right, smoothly, confidently. That is a hallucination, and for years it was one of the biggest unsolved problems in all the AI. Let me give you some numbers because the scale of this problem is wild. Just 2 years ago, many top AI models were hallucinating on 15 to 20% of responses. That means if you asked a model 100 questions, up to 20 of those answers could contain fabricated content. The consequences were not abstract. In 2023, a US lawyer submitted a court brief full of AI generated citations, cases that did not exist. The judge sanctioned the firm. In healthcare, chatbots gave incorrect medication guidance to patients. And in 2026, ECRI, the global healthcare safety non-profit, named the misuse of AI chatbots in healthcare as the number one technology hazard of the year. Number one, above equipment failures, above surgical errors. This was not a niche technical glitch. This was a systematic crisis being baked into every industry at once. Okay, so here is why the story changes. Because the AI industry looked at all of this, the lawsuits, the scandals, the $67 billion bill, and did not shrug. With $12.8 billion of targeted investment and the best researchers throwing themselves at this problem, something remarkable happened. Let me walk you through the 5 biggest breakthroughs. AI used to be trained like a student in a classroom, where leaving an answer blank gets 0 marks. So it always guessed, even when it had absolutely no idea. The model learned, always producing something no matter what. Researchers fixed this by redesigning the scoring from the ground up. Now the model gets rewarded for saying, I am not certain about this, instead of inventing a confident sounding answer. The shift is small in theory, but enormous in practice. The AI stops treating uncertainty as failure and starts treating it as the honest, correct response. Real example, ask an old AI who won the 1987 Cricket World Cup and it names someone with full confidence. A model trained with rewarding doubt says, I am not confident enough, please verify. That is not a worse answer, that is a better one. Telling an AI, don't make things up, used to be like taping a sticky note to someone's forehead. Ignore the moment it got busy generating text. It was a surface rule, not a deep value. Anthropic's researchers went inside the model's actual internal wiring and found clusters of meaning called concept vectors that control when the AI feels it should stop. By steering those directly, refusal becomes something the model is, not something it's told to do. Think of the difference between a new employee who does not lie because the handbook says so, and a doctor who never invents a diagnosis because their entire training made honesty part of their professional identity. One forgets under pressure, the other that does not. Anthropic moved AI from the first category to the second. A standard AI answers entirely from memory. Everything it absorbed during training frozen at a point on time, with no way to verify if it's still accurate. RAG changes the process fundamentally. Before answering, the model first searches a live, verified database and retrieves actual current evidence. The answer is built from what it found, not from what it half remembers. Ask a RAG powered tool like Perplexity about a recent event and it shows you the exact sources it retrieved. If a source does not exist for the claim, the answer does not include the claim. The hallucination has nowhere to hide. It's the difference between a doctor answering from memory and one who pulls up the actual clinic guidelines first. Most people ask AI questions the way they Google: short, casual, no guardrails. The AI fills every gap with confident assumptions, and some of those assumptions are hallucinations. What researchers discovered is that the way you phrase the question changes how much the model fabricates, even with the exact same underlying model. Specific instructions like only say things you are certain of and never invent citations reward how carefully the model treats its own outputs. The same model hallucinated 53% of the time with a casual prompt and only 23% of the time with a carefully structured one. You did not update the AI, you update the brief. Like the difference between telling an intern write a report versus write a report, mark anything uncertain, do not include anything you cannot verify. For years, AI was tested on benchmarks too simple to catch the real problems. Models scored 95% while still being unreliable in actual use because the test only asked clean, obvious answer queries. MedHallo changed this. 10,000 medical scenarios with deliberately planted false details, multi-turn conversation, and ambiguous cases with no clean answer. It's like testing a pilot mid-thunderstorm with a falling engine. The first test tells you almost nothing. The second tells you what you need to know. The result? Google's Gemini 2.0 Flash hit a hallucination rate of just 0.7% on summarization benchmarks in April 2025, down from 15 to 20% 2 years prior. Real, measurable, undeniable progress. So, given all that progress, the billions invested, the 5 breakthroughs, the 0.7% figures, is AI finally hallucination free in 2026? No, not even close. A peer-reviewed proof confirmed that hallucinations cannot be fully eliminated under current LLM architectures. Even the best models still hallucinate between 0.7 and 18% of the time, and some still go above 25%. And here is the counterintuitive twist. The most intelligent sounding models often hallucinate more on simple facts. OpenAI's O3 hallucinated 33% of the time on person-specific questions, double its predecessor. A 5% hallucination rate when brainstorming slogans, fine. A 0.5% rate when processing radiology reports, completely unacceptable. The honest 2026 verdict: dramatically reduced, increasingly manageable, structurally impossible to fully eliminate. Better, but not solved. So, what does all of this means for you using AI every day? 3 concrete rules. AI is fantastic for drafts, brainstorms, summarizing, and creative work. But the moment your query touches medical decisions, legal documents, or financial advice, verify everything against primary sources. A 1 in 50 wrong answer in these domains is too dangerous to ignore. Get into the habit of ending every factual query with, "Can you cite your source for this?" A well-designed AI should either point to a real verifiable resource or tell you it cannot. If it invents a source, that itself is a hallucination and a red flag. RAG powered tools like Perplexity are structurally safer for factual research. If an AI gives you an answer that feels suspiciously polished, a very specific statistic, a precise date, a full name, that's when you double check. Remember, MIT showed AI is 34% more confident when it's wrong. The more perfectly the answer arrives, the more carefully you should verify it. Learning these habits does not mean distrusting AI. It means being the human in the loop that this technology still genuinely needs. AI hallucinations are not going away this year or next year, but the trajectory is real. Billions are being spent, architectures are changing, models are learning, genuinely learning. When to say, I don't know. That is new. That matters. The question we started with, is AI hallucination free now? The honest answer is no. But the more important answer, it's getting smarter about its own limit, and so should we. Have you ever caught an AI hallucinating? Drop your wildest example in the comments. See you in the next one.